Hope rises for Fubara, the suspended governor of Rivers State, following his meeting with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Tuesday. Tuesday was June 3rd, 2025. That meeting signifies that Fubara may soon return to the government house, Rivers State. If not before the end of his 6-month suspension, at least from what is unfolding now, the 6-month suspension may not be extended, given the fact that it appears President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is open to ensure his return, having achieved their purpose of stopping him from setting up structure without their consent. You know, the problem of Fubara was that he established a structure outside of Nyesom Wike, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, which alarmed both the President and Nyesom Wike. You know that when Fubara successfully conducted the October 5th local government election last year and was able to install local government chairmen, both President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Minister Nyesom Wike were alarmed, because the struggle in Rivers State is about the structure. Who will be in charge of the structure? Who will take it over and use it for the benefit of Mr. President? Mr. President knows where Nyesom Wike stands, but he doesn't know where Fubara stands. So he was able to buy into the machinations of Nyesom Wike and the lawmakers to frustrate Fubara, especially after he successfully conducted that local government election, which was actually in obedience to the Supreme Court ruling. Don't forget that the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, senior advocate of Nigeria, went to court, the Supreme Court, to determine that no state can get a local government allocation without having duly elected officials. And the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the Attorney General, who filed that matter on behalf of the federal government. As a result of that Supreme Court ruling, many states conducted local government election, but it was that of Rivers State that was in the news, because Nyesom Wike and the lawmakers that defected from PDP to APC tried to do everything under the sun to frustrate him. Eventually, he was able to conduct that election. And by conducting that election and set up local government structure, Nyesom Wike and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu were alarmed. That was the last straw that broke the camel's back. So every effort was now put in to ensure that he is taken out. And one of the ways they used to take him out was the instrumentality of the court. You know how the Supreme Court ruled. When that Supreme Court judgment came out, the first thing the Supreme Court did was to quash that election, local government election, that it was an illegality. It doesn't stand. And Fubara dutifully began to arrange for fresh local government election, having suspended the officials that emerged from that election. But while he was doing that, while he was planning to conduct fresh election, Pro Yeso Wike group and Yeso Wike himself, they were doing everything possible to frustrate him from implementing even the Supreme Court judgment. Because don't forget, the Supreme Court nullified the election. The Supreme Court recognized the Martin Amehule led State House of Assembly. The Supreme Court just handed over back everything to Yeso Wike. All those things they were looking for. Having determined that the APC, PDP lawmakers didn't defect to APC, the lawmakers now began to do everything possible to impeach him. And Yeso Wike was in support of that impeachment. But they met a stone wall on the Chief Judge of Rivers State, Siminalayi. Siminalayi was not on their camp. Because it was not on their camp, they could not be able to impeach Fubara. Because for you to impeach Fubara, Siminalayi must be on your side. That was why before they even issued notice of impeachment to Fubara and his deputy, Professor Ngozi Odo, before they did that, the first thing they did, the Martin Amehule led assembly, the first thing they did, besides summoning the chairman of Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission to stop him from conducting fresh election, was to write to the Department of State Services, that's DSS, telling DSS to investigate Siminalayi for age falsification on that ground so that he be removed. But they were reminded by the Nigerian Bar Association and others that you cannot remove Siminalayi through the DSS. If you have anything against him, you have to petition the National Judicial Council, NJC, for them to be the ones that will do the investigation. If they found him culpable, they can then take disciplinary action against him. So that stopped them on their tracks. They couldn't move forward with the impeachment. That was basically it. So what then do? They cannot impeach him. They cannot allow him to submit the budget. They cannot allow him to do anything. What do you expect? The last straw was, okay, if we cannot impeach him, let us use state of emergency and remove him from office. And that was exactly what they did. And that state of emergency was considered an illegality by all the top legal minds in Nigeria, who are the most credible top legal minds in Nigeria, including the Nigerian Bar Association, the largest umbrella body of lawyers in Nigeria. Was very clear that what was done by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on March 18 or thereabout was an illegality, an aberration. Removing the duly elected governor of a state and his deputy, and suspending the State House of Assembly, and they put who they consider an impostor, a sole administrator. So that was the situation. And since this thing happened, Fubara has been beaten to submission, literally. And the days are going, and people, even including those who supported Fubara, are getting much more frustrated, especially the utterances coming from Fubara himself. When he spoke at the memorial of Edwin Clark, a senior Niger Delta elder statesman, Fubara was even attacking those who supported him, that spoke in that occasion, that they shouldn't turn the thing into a place to agitate for his own favor. When he spoke with his stakeholders of his main support group, the Simplified movement, recently, he even went as far as telling Nigerians to thank President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for stopping the anarchy in the state. And you ask yourself, which anarchy was looming in River State before the president's intervention? You can't wrap your head around it. So, but in that simplified meeting with a simplified to mark what could have been his 2 years in office. What did he was now telling them that that was where he said that Nigerians should thank the president, and then added that there is hope for his return. Okay, that everybody should maintain the peace and all that. So that was the first time he talked about returning, having misfired the other time during the memorial of Edwin Clark, saying that his spirit has left the government house. That those who are campaigning for him, protesting on his behalf, do they even know whether he want to come back? But now, from all indication, he want to go back. He has started dancing to the tune of Yeso Wike and everything else. So this latest meeting with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu solidifies that expectation that he will return by the expiration, before or by the expiration of his 6-month suspension. And it also shows that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, having faced a lot of condemnation for what he did, is trying to make amend. I remember watching Yeso Wike in an interview with BBC Pidgin. He told them that when they asked him, "Are you ready for peace?" He said he's ready for peace. That the peace is in the hands of hands of Fubara, who is holding the knife and the yam. It determines how he wants the peace. But he also made a revelation. He said that Mr. President called him to make peace. And he told Mr. President, if you want me to make peace, who am I not to make peace? So even though he may be reluctant to make peace, because if you watch his last media chat, you can see that Yeso Wike was not too eager about peace. But obviously, if the president wants him to make peace, he said that the president called him to make peace. And it was after that call that that Fubara met with Yeso Wike, which he confirmed in that interview with BBC Pidgin, where he said that 2 APC governors and 2 former governors. And it has been confirmed that the 2 AP is the governor of Ogun State, governor of Ebonyi State, and then former governor Olusegun Oshoba. These are all APC people. They came with Fubara. Apparently, after the president called Yeso Wike to make peace. And of course, Olusegun Oshoba is very close to Bola Ahmed Tinubu. They were mates in government. They were governors at the same time in 1999. So, from all indication, the president is open for a new engagement. But the fact of the matter now remains that Fubara is returning a very thoroughly beaten politician. And he's going to dance to their tune. Whatever they want, they have already gotten it. If you look at the structure that he put up, they have dismantled it. And the sole administrator is doing the bidding of Nyesom Wike and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And there is no change that will be expected when Fubara returns. That will be in line with Tinubu's renewed hope agenda. That is what is going to play out. But from all indication, he will return. But that will not be the Fubara you know before. That will not be the Fubara that you saw stood in front of police vehicle and say, look, nobody can tamper with the electoral materials. The Fubara that you saw storm the electoral office and say the election must take place. That is not the Fubara you are going to get this time around. It is going to be a Fubara that will be a lame duck playing, dancing to the tune of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Nyesom Wike. Of course, that's not the Fubara that Rivers people want, but that is the Fubara they are going to get before the expiration of the 6-month suspension or after his return after the 6-month suspension. There will be a new Fubara, but it will not be, he will be so unrecognizable compared to the Fubara you saw that was able to do everything to ensure that he conducted local government election, to put in a new structure outside of what Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Nyesom Wike wanted. That is the situation. This meeting with Tinubu has confirmed that the possibility of his return, and everything is clear now that a new Fubara is returning, but it's going to be a new Fubara, not the Fubara you know before. I don't know what you think about the president's meeting with Fubara, the suspended governor of Rivers State. But whatever you think about the latest development, what do you think about it? Whose interest is Fubara going to represent now? Now that he is sounding so beaten, do you think he can be a man of his own when he returns after the suspension? Or do you think the way I'm looking at it, the way I looked at it is the obvious thing that will happen? He's coming back to dance to the tune of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Nyesom Wike. Whatever is your position, let's hear from you at the comment section. Thank you for watching this video. And if you are new to my channel, you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. And please don't forget to like this video, because when you like it, God will rank it high and recommend it for more people. Thank you, and God bless you and yours.